The whole idea is that the air filter is facing the front, right, rather than the back where there's actually more hot air hitting. So if it's in the front, then obviously there's more cooler air hitting. So I like that whole design idea with the air filter facing the front grille. But the only concern, like I mentioned, is that the air filter and the tube hits low, so it's kind of hitting the cable underneath, as I've shown you. But we'll see how it is when I drive it. Maybe it won't be that bad, right? So that's the only concern. Otherwise, it's all good. So let me just show you what I got here. So I just got this from the mail. And here is a long tube, right? Then an air filter and tubing, basic pipe stuff. But pretty much what I got from this sort of generic type air filter for the RSX. Gonna take off this stock air filter. To do that, I'll have to take off the engine cover first, and then I'll take this piece off, and then just take it from there. So I've got to take all these screws out to get rid of the air intake cover. There it is, the air box. Fairly easy to take that out. Now I just have to take these other things out. This thing is just taking up so much room here. Once I take this air box out, there's going to be a lot of room here. Even for my siren, for my alarm, I can relocate it somewhere in here so it won't be on this. Okay. So you just got to kind of angle it out to remove it. Big piece. This stock air box really takes up a lot of room right here. And that's the hose right here that connects to the stock air box. You just have to take that out. Alright, so this right here is the Aftermarket long tube that I got, and let's see how this is all going to fit in. Probably going like this, you know, like that. As you could see, the air filter will be facing this way, so I think that's better than having it face that way, where it really gets hot. And this is like a good compromise if you guys don't want to do the cold air intake where you have to take off the bumper and bring it all the way down and worry when there's rain and stuff. So I think this is a good alternative if you get the long tube design, because then the air filter will be facing this way and it's going to be facing the grill, so you'll still get more cooler air rather than just the hot air from the motor itself. Okay, so the only issue that I ran into was here, the rubber, the piece that came in here, this piece right here was really hard to take it out of the rubber. Sometimes you need to loosen it up a little bit before you actually pull it, otherwise you might mess up this rubber hose right here and you might have to get a replacement. So what I did was I used some WD-40 to take care of that, loosen it up, and then slowly just pull it out with my pliers. So that's how you deal with that issue right here. So now what you do is you get both of these clamps that you're going to need to use to install your aftermarket hose and air filter. Here. And so this will connect to your intake manifold, and they're going to be two sides. One's going to be bigger than the other one. The smaller opening will go straight to just my intake manifold, which is just stock, so it's not really that big, and then the bigger outlet right here will go straight to the aftermarket hose. Okay, so go ahead and put this in here, and then the bigger clamp will go in here, right there. So once you have this, now you can try to connect your tubing right here, and okay, it will go this way. This will go to the sensor, and these will go, this is going to connect right on that small rubber hose, and then this is going to connect right here. So okay, now that you have the piping connected, not really sure how solid this is. My only concern is that it might be a little too close down here to the throttle metal piece. So I don't know if that's gonna vibrate or shake or hit when you're driving, but I guess we'll see. Anyway, here's the air filter that it comes with. And check it out. Right here, air filter, which is what we're going to be using. Install is fairly simple for this piece. Right, you just connect this first, and then tighten this baby up. So that's it. All I have to do is tighten that up, and that's what that baby looks like right there. Here it is, along long tube design, connectors right here, rubber hose right here. I hope this stays secure. Maybe I need to push it in a little bit more. And clamp right here. And my only concern again is if this is gonna move, but that's the setup right there for the long tube air filter. Better than facing that way when you have the regular short ram air intake. And maybe not like the cold air intake, which goes all the way down here, but it's still facing this direction, so you get better flow of cooler air. So there it is. Oop, all I gotta do is clean up engine bay right here, since I got the engine cover off. Okay, so this is the piece I'm talking about right here that I forgot about. And what I gotta do is I gotta have it right here. Right here. Maybe you could see it, but it's like a clamp to hold the tube in place, because I was concerned that it was going to move. I forgot about this piece right here, so I'm going to go ahead and install this piece. Okay, so again, I just installed that bracket to keep this pipe in place. And what I did was, if you guys you don't want to get your pipe scratched like I have, what I did was I put this rubber sort of double-sided, it's like a rubber tape in between. You guys could do, put rubber if you want, something that will kind of sort of prevent the bracket from scratching your pipe. That's just me. You guys don't have to, obviously. That's just an option that you guys can do. But that's how the bracket is right there. Kind of hold this pipe in place so that it won't like vibrate so much when you're driving. Because I was having issue with the air filter hitting underneath right here, I needed to fix the bracket. This, instead of being straight, I needed to put it at an angle so that it would be lifting the pipe a little bit more. So when I put this in here, this pipe will be lifted up a little higher. See how it moves? There's a little bit of play up there, so that the air filter won't be hitting underneath right here. And even if you could see it, but underneath right there. So that's what you gotta do. You gotta angle the bracket to bring up the hose and the air filter a little higher. Right here, it's not hitting really, just not really anymore. It was an issue earlier when the bracket wasn't angled. So this thing right there, I was worried about this, not having enough play. But with the pipe higher and the air filter higher, then get that play going down there. So that was the only issue right here. The issue I have is, obviously there's a scratch right there, so don't make the same mistake I did. Make sure you put this double-sided tape or rubber before. I didn't do that, so I got scratches right there. But my issue is not that. My issue is what's underneath the air filter. Like underneath, it's hitting down here. So I just want to know if that's going to be an issue when I'm driving. But otherwise, aesthetically, it doesn't look that bad. It's a lot of room here, but it's just a matter of functionality. So there it is right there, all installed. Let me just make sure I plug this in right here. We were worried about it hitting down here, the air filter hitting underneath, but we'll see how it works, and then I'll let you guys know. Okay, so now that I got the long tube air filter installed, I'm gonna take it for a spin and see how it feels, see if the check engine light turns on, or I told you there was that issue with the piping and the air filter actually hitting the cable underneath. I try to fix it by moving, by fixing that bracket, by making it more angled like I showed you. But it's not hitting as much, but it's still hitting a little bit. So we'll see if that's going to be an issue, if not now, in the future. So I don't really like the idea of the air filter hitting the that cable, from here. So as I mentioned, I fixed the bracket. I made it more angled so that this pipe will stick out more. Right? So this pipe is kind of sticking out more now. I like the whole idea behind this long tube, because the design makes you put the air filter in front rather than in the back, so it works that way. We're gonna take it for a spin now and see how the air filter feels. My feelings for this car are still the same. It runs good. It's pretty reliable daily driver, I would assume, even though I haven't had it for that long. I'm just trying to put more mods to see how it feels. I'm starting out with this air filter, and take it from there pretty much. Let's see how it runs. Try to get the VTEC. I feel like it opens up a little bit more when I push it. I could hear like a little bit more of that VTEC kicking in once it hits high RPM on there. I'm not trying to push this car that hard yet. I mean, I only put an air filter in it, but okay, it feels like it has something. I feel like it's well, I don't really know if it adds any horsepower on this car, but it just, maybe it's the idea, right? Thinking that maybe it's the idea that I've added an air filter, so it could all be just mental for now, but so far so good. As you can see, there's no check engine light on there, so far so good, but we'll see how it goes, right? I'll try to drive it around a little bit more, and then see what happens. Yeah, I'm just trying to test out the VTEC action here. Try to push it a little bit more, but yeah, trying to see how it feels. I'll give it another shot here. Try to see if the air filter will start kicking in, right here. Not bad for non-turbo, but yeah, it feels like it opens up a little bit more with the air filter, and it's good because it's not, the check engine light's still not on, so. Because this is my daily driver. I'm not really trying to turbocharge this car like the FRS, right? Which is all modified and everything. I want to make sure that everything is maintained in terms of the stock feel, or the sort of the reliability of it. It's like a strange noise there. I'm trying to figure out what that noise is. Yeah, I'm trying to figure out what that noise is. Seems like it still has that whining noise. I don't know where that's coming from. Is this the air filter? Something's up. So, I finally decided to put back the stock air filter and take out the aftermarket air filter. I was having some issues with it. You know, the design is kind of flawed. It was too long, the tube was too long, and the air filter was sitting underneath the shift cable like I was showing you guys. And so that kind of bothered me because I don't know, longevity-wise, I don't know if that's going to create any issues as far as driving. And then it also is making this weird sound, like I showed you guys that clip, that weird sound. And I don't know, I feel like there's some kind of leak, or some kind of, yeah, some type of leak coming from the air filter itself, or from the sensor connection or whatever. So I just wasn't happy with it. And so I just returned it, and then I think I'm just gonna go with the stock air filter because I feel like, I don't know, I don't really think I'm gaining that much horsepower by putting that aftermarket one. And plus I think I'm okay with having the stock air filter, especially with it. I know that the air's coming from the front rather than, you know, the back. So that's why I went back to the stock air filter right here. And I'm gonna keep it that way unless I decide to do some major stuff, which I don't know. This is like my daily driver, so I'm gonna kind of just keep it this way for a little bit and just focus on aesthetics for now. The air filter back, I put the stock air filter back, as I mentioned to you guys. Really, I wanted, you know me, I like to modify cars, so really I wanted to change the air filter because even just for aesthetic purposes, right? I thought it would look better, there's more room. And not necessarily that air filter that I put, but either way, the only reason I took that out was because it wasn't working right. You know, it was making funny noises. I think there was some kind of leak on it. And then obviously the big issue was that the air filter itself and the pipe was hitting like the cable underneath, the shifter cable. So I thought that maybe that could be an issue in the future. So I just didn't want to have that in the back of my mind. So I said, I'm just gonna take off that air filter and then return it. I don't really want to get into, you know, the brand of that air filter because I didn't like that. So I'm not even recommending that air filter. And I'm actually doing them a favor by not mentioning which company it is. But I'm just gonna say that it was defective and it didn't work properly for me because of the issues of, you know, obviously the funny noises, the leaks, and the tube hitting the shifter cable underneath the air filter. So anyway, I took it out. I think I'm gonna stick to the stock air filter for a while, and that's the reason why I've done that. I just kind of want to let you guys know as to why I've gone stock again. So yeah, it's been a few months since I've driven this car, but let's see how it runs now with the stock air filter back on. Let's see how it runs right now. Okay, normal driving, it seems alright for normal driving right now. Let's see what happens when I push it a little bit more. I don't know if I'm gonna add anything else as far as like replacing the muffler or headers and stuff like that. I think it might get too loud for this car, but yeah. So I'm not sure yet. We'll see what happens, you know. Okay, I think it's still got the VTEC action going. You know, it's not super fast, but it's stock fast. Back to the original with the original air filter. So I'm just gonna keep it like that for now. You know, it's not gonna. At least I know there won't be any major issues to it, or no issues whatsoever having the OEM parts. But yeah, if you guys just want to have a car that's reliable and just has a VTEC kick in that way, then just keep it stock. But if you guys want to have a different growl to it, then maybe stick to a more major brand air filter. That's what I would do if I was gonna switch back again. I'm not gonna try to experiment and get like an eBay part, which I really don't like to do, you know. So just, yeah, I would stick to a name brand air filter if I was gonna do that. That's pretty much it. So until next time, I'll see you guys. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this episode on the RSX